do we want?
Communism.
And when do we want it?
You want it now.
Yeah, now. And who should we vote for?
Me. Vote for me. We want to apologize just off the top, Congressman, because you joined the show after General Flynn and then Rudy Giuliani, and those men have stories, and they're heroes and legends, and you like to hear those stories. So anyway, the point is that even with a short clip from last week, you went viral. Boys, can you grab that? This was from last week. The congressman went, or from earlier this week, the congressman went totally viral with breaking news about Zohran Mamdani.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get there, but first let's start with the big, beautiful bill. Congressman, how we doing?
Yeah, I mean, so, up on the wall here, we've got a TV, so we're monitoring it. Now, I'll be honest with you, I can't listen to Hakeem Jeffries with the way he moves and his cadence, and he takes naps between sentences. I don't know what the hell he's doing. But anyway, so he's trying to break, McCarthy's record for the longest floor speech, which means he'll go at least to like 1:26 Eastern time. So around 1:30, I think we'll vote. But I mean, goodness gracious, this guy is just a blowhard. I mean, he's led his party into absolute disintegration. President Trump, because of his vision, won all the battleground states, won the popular vote, won the electoral college. But if Hakeem Jeffries is their leader, we are looking good. We're poised to win the midterms, and we can get to some of those investigations that the general has talked about, where you saw the weaponization of the Justice Department. You saw Comey turning on people on an enemies list, using the Justice Department to target Americans. Enough is enough. And you don't want to get into this tit for tat where it's revenge, it's retribution. It needs to be about justice. And I think that's what Pam Bondi and Kash Patel are going to do. And I think the general has some very valid points that need to be looked at and investigated, and just follow the facts. That's all you have to do. Follow the facts. You don't have to make up a story. You don't have to try to frame a story. Just follow the information, the facts as they lead you. And I think the rest will be historic, quite frankly, just like the bill that we worked on. So I was with the president several hours yesterday at the White House. Came back to the Capitol, was on a conference call with the president and other members of Congress for about an hour. I had to step out. Then I was with the speaker into the wee hours of the morning, whipping votes to get this passed, because it's historic. You got no tax on tips. The tax cuts in general are made permanent. The border secure, deportations at an all-time high, like all the things that people want. And it's truly going to unleash this economy, this golden era, this golden age of the United States. We're back, baby, and the rest of the world knows it. And that's why the rest of the world, quite frankly, is behaving now and wanting to negotiate tariffs and are taking us seriously. Oh, and by the way, we bombed the crap out of Iran, and it was done flawlessly. And when you understand the logistics of how you're getting a bomb that is so heavy that when the bomb drops, the plane lurches into the air several hundred feet, because there's so much inertia and mass, and yet it hits so basically the size of half a refrigerator or something, from way up from the sky. So I mean, everything that he is doing is being perfectly executed. He's delivering on his promises. We're going to win the midterms, and I'll take your questions.
All right. So you talk about how these intel agencies shouldn't be targeting America.
That's right.
Americans, and especially our duly elected president. This big, beautiful bill, the thing that I'm the most excited about is that it funds ICE, not by a little bit, but by an order of magnitude, by a standard deviation, like 1,000x. We're talking like 40 billion for ICE funding. Is that correct for deportations? Can you give us the breakdown directly from the president? It sounds like you've been with the president for hours and hours and hours over the last 24. Can you give us a breakdown of what we are getting inside of this bill? I know there's a lot of obvious like disinformation about it.
Well, so, now the House version of the bill was, quite frankly, better than the Senate version. There's no denying it. It's the BBB, the big, beautiful bill. Some might argue that it's not beautiful anymore. But that being said, we're still delivering on the promises that President Trump made. And so, for example, you take illegals who are getting Medicaid. This is in particular taking place in states like California, woke states like California, where they're literally gaming the system. The state of California is allowing people to get on Medicaid. They're taking those those federal dollars, et cetera. And so the language in the House was very specific that created a penalty for states like California. Well, the Senate took that out. And so now, that being said, the language that was inserted, Stephen Miller worked on this. It clarifies that you can't be a non-citizen, you can't be here illegally and get Medicaid or free health care. And so, but it's going to require us a couple of extra steps to enforce it, but that's okay. We're moving in the right direction. So some of the misinformation, and oh, by the way, the people that are getting off Medicaid are people who shouldn't be on Medicaid to begin with. Yes. They're illegal aliens. It's the loser in his mama's basement playing video games instead of going out and getting a job. It's those types of folks, able-bodied individuals who refuse to get a job. Look, if you're able-bodied, go get a job, pay your fair share. That's what I do. That's what you do, right? And so it's those types of things. And so at the end of the day, you've got Hakeem Jeffries on the House floor taking up America's time, taking up too much oxygen, quite frankly. And what we really need to do is focus on the mission of the American people, which is passing this bill. Let's fix Medicaid. Let's secure the border. Let's make sure that ICE is funded. So you look at Nashville, which has been in the news because of the deportations, because of the woke Nashville mayor literally interfering with ICE. Now ICE is going to have the personnel and the resources to come into cities like Nashville, like Chicago, like LA, and quite frankly, deport people in New York. And quite frankly, not to shift topics, but if Zohran fudged on his immigration forms, we may very well be deporting him. Time will tell.
Yeah, well, we want to get there, Congressman. But before we do, just wanted to put this graph up. This is remarkable. So what you're voting on today, and you're telling me that this is going to pass. Yes, this is going to pass today.
It will pass.
It will pass today.
Yeah. So the big hurdle was last night, as people were coming around, there was a few holdouts. And quite frankly, there wasn't as much contention around this as like the media would like for there to have been. You had members of Congress who had legitimate questions or concerns about some of the things that were stripped out from the Senate. And so the question is there another mechanism? Can justice, can the president himself, can Congress come back in and fix these things, these issues, the mess, quite frankly, and that the Senate made of some of these data points? Can we come back and clean it up? And the answer to those questions was yes. It's now a matter of getting it done. And so lots of meetings, lots of questions and answers last night. But yes, this is going to pass, and it's going to be, my hope is that it's unanimous with Republicans. You may have one or two no votes, but we're really trying to get everybody on the same page, supporting the president, and then quite frankly, having a signing on 4th of July.
So here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Big, beautiful bill passing would make the budget for ICE larger than most of the world's militaries.
That's right. Now, but the woke left is like, oh, you're creating a military state. No, it's like Joe Biden committed treason by allowing our country to be invaded by 10 million people. You got to get them, the hell out. That's going to require resources. That's going to require personnel. So guess what? We got to fund it. Knucklehead, not you, but the people who are going to criticize it, right? And so this is the solution to a problem that was made by a president who committed treason. And that's what President Trump has done, is fixing that problem.
So Hakeem Jeffries, you were just talking about it, how you can not listen to him. Here's the clip that's going viral right now. Hakeem Jeffries, and do we have the clip? I want to hear it. Saying that this bill is going to put a deportation machine on steroids. He's doing a great job actually helping secure the votes for this bill. Here we go.
Okay. That's not what this country should be all about.
Oh man, I'm already asleep, dude.
Yeah, right.
Manu wasn't the only one. The only American citizen who's been targeted by the deportation machine, a deportation machine that will be unleashed on steroids by this one big ugly bill.
Your response to that, Congressman?
Well, when I listen to Hakeem Jeffries, it drives me bananas. I mean, come on, just talk, man. I know he can talk. I've heard him on the House floor, but this whole fake thing that he does, and his hands, and he does this, like, all right, are you doing sign language? Are you rapping? Are you trying to talk to us? Like, pick a lane and just do it, right? But no, this is nonsense. I mean, again, you have an administration that allowed our country to be invaded. And oh, by the way, the illegal immigration issue is an 80-20 issue, meaning that 80% of Americans support these deportations. And oh, by the way, I had a Democratic member of Congress come up to me on the House floor yesterday. And he said, you know what, this is, officially where I'd say you're a horrible human being for targeting Zohran in New York. He said, but the reality is we as Democrats hope you're successful because he's the worst thing that's ever happened to our party. So that's a Democrat member of Congress coming to me on the House floor and thanking me for targeting this knucklehead because he's a socialist, Marxist. He's going to destroy the city of New York. He represents everything that's wrong with the Democratic Party and why, quite frankly, we're going to win the midterms and we're going to win the White House again in 4 years.
Democrats are thanking you for calling out Zohran. Wow, that's a remarkable story. Okay, so here's the post. We only got one answer before we were interrupted by a President Trump news conference. And you went nuclear, almost 1 million views, 13,000 reposts, and 37,000 likes. And you inspired us to ask this question of President Trump. And I'd like to get you to respond to it, Congressman, please. This is us 2 days ago asking this question based on your information. Here we go.
Mr. President, your beloved New York City may well be led by a communist soon, Zohran Mamdani, who in his nomination speech said he will defy ICE and will not allow ICE to arrest criminal aliens in New York City. Your message to communist Zohran Mamdani.
Well, then we'll have to arrest him. Look, we don't need a communist in this country, but if we have one, I'm going to be watching over him very carefully on behalf of the nation. We send him money. We send him all the things that he needs to run a government. And by the way, they get about 3 times what you get, Ron. If you look at the per capita, Florida gets 1/3 of what New York gets in terms of the numbers. Why don't you give us those numbers?
Yeah, well,
because that's what we should send him.
Yeah, well,
So Trump goes on then, Congressman, to talk through it, and the clip's gone viral, and Trump saying that he wants to arrest him. That was quite a news cycle, Congressman. So we just want to thank you for your inspiration there. Where do we stand on this, and what was your reaction to the president's take here?
Well, it's kind of going back to the conversation with General Flynn. Follow the facts, right? So it's not our job to try to make up any information about Mamdani. We're simply going to look at, did he fully disclose his information, his allegiances with the Communist Party, maybe his ties to the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt, or whatever he was doing at that time, and was it fully disclosed on his naturalization papers? And if they were not, we'll give that information to Pam Bondi, and then we'll let justice do what justice does. With that being said, obviously my team, we're on top of this, and we're investigating every angle that we can. In fact, I was just with Pam Bondi yesterday at the White House, and we briefly talked about the mayor of Nashville and his, interference with ICE, but then also the New York situation as well. So I didn't really set out to be the guy that was going to go after the member of Congress that was going to go after these woke mayors, but it's just kind of one of those things that's now on one of the hats that I wear. I'm on financial services, which is banking. I'm on Homeland Security, and I do all that, counterterrorism stuff. But now I guess I'm the guy that's going after woke mayors. But you know what? It's got to be done. We got to put these cities, these mayors in their place. They're living off of the federal teat. They're breaking our laws. They're allowing illegals in. They're giving them free health care. They're giving them food stamps. They're giving them free phones. We've got veterans that don't have benefits or not getting the benefits that they need. You still have 22 veterans a day that are committing suicide. We got kids in school that could use more support. I choose all of those over illegals every moment, every second of every day, period.
Yes. I mean, I'm telling you, there's a lot of ways to skin this cat. You're having a profound effect, Congressman. DOJ memo pushes broader. DOJ memo, there it is. DOJ memo pushes broader effort to revoke naturalized U.S. citizenship because we let people who hate this country and hate us into our nation. It's a terrible system, and it should clearly be revoked. I mean, honestly, if you're running a campaign, and this is my final question to you, because I didn't get a chance to ask Trump this, and I regret that, and I look forward to hopefully being able to ask soon. But this is a real problem. He's running and doubling down, Congressman, on taxing white New Yorkers more.
That's right.
Which is like you just brought South Africa here, right? You're creating apartheid states in this country by doing that. And he's proud of it, and he's not apologizing for it. He's saying he wants to actually do it more. And so what's your take on that? We've already got Harmeet Dillon saying it's patently illegal in the civil rights DOJ.
Well, again, when you look at the left, they don't have a vision for their party, for the country. All they want to do is, call you names, call me names. You have an individual who's clearly anti-Semitic, his own words, not mine. He's targeting white people, wants to tax white people because of the color of their skin. Then they turn around and call me a racist because I'm trying to hold him accountable. I mean, because they can't answer the two aforementioned questions, like why is he an anti-Semite? How is that legal? How is he going to target someone based off of the color of their skin? So they're like, oh, wait a minute, we're not going to talk about that. You're a racist. And so, but look, during the Cold War, we weren't just inviting Russians in. We weren't giving them visas. We weren't naturalizing them in droves and droves. So why are we doing it to the Chinese? Why are we doing it to this guy and folks like Zohran who truly want to come here and they want to live a better life? And while they're here, they're going to undermine our government, our way of life. They're going to steal from us one way or the other. So enough is enough. We should go back, go through all these naturalization records. And if you're here or you came here to undermine this government, that truly is an insurrection. That truly is treasonous. You need to get the hell out.
Yes. It's good. It's just so refreshing to have somebody just say it. It's just so refreshing to have somebody say it.
I don't have a filter. It gets me in trouble.
This used to be something that we all agreed on, but something's gone horribly wrong, and it's nice to see it. Nice to see us break that fever dream. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want these cold hard facts, please follow the congressman right here at Rep. Andy Ogles. He's on his way to 100,000 subscribers, which is a lot for a member of Congress, quite frankly. Most of them have less than 1,000, and so he's doing God's work. Please support those who are fighting for us. Godspeed, Congressman.
Thank you.